A little over 6 years ago, Audi decided to finally bring the hottest version of its A3 S3 to America in the form of the RS3. Now, sadly, unlike the European market, we never got the RS3 hatchback. The sedan is what sells here in America. So for 2022, Audi decided to bring back the fully redesigned version of the RS3. I actually already had a chance to drive this vehicle when I was out in Las Vegas a few months ago at a track. Really impressed with the overall performance. However, this week, as you can see, Audi has loaned me this beautiful turbo blue 2023 RS3. I'm gonna actually live with the car for a full week. I'm gonna put it through my usual battery of tests. We're gonna see what it's like to live with on a day-to-day basis. And at the end of this video, the big question I wanna answer, if you guys are in the market for a pint-sized super sedan that offers a really charismatic engine, does the RS3 represent the best of the breed? Stay tuned to find out. Now, because this is an RS3, I want to first show you guys what's underneath the hood. Now, you guys should know this engine if you're an Audi Volkswagen enthusiast. This is the company's coveted 5-cylinder engine. It's a turbo 5-cylinder, and for 2023, it's the only vehicle that offers this charismatic motor. Now, because the Audi TT RS has been discontinued after the 2022 model year, the 2023 RS3 is the only vehicle in Audi's portfolio to soldier on with this 2.5-liter turbocharged gasoline direct injection 5-cylinder engine, which means it has an odd number of cylinders, 20 valves, because it has 4 valves per cylinders. And this year, Audi has pumped up the boost pressure to just under 22 PSI, which gives this vehicle 401 horsepower. That's 7 more versus the previous generation, and up to 369 pound-feet of torque. That's an increase of 15 pound-feet versus the previous generation. It all goes out through a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. There is no manual transmission available for this vehicle. The dual clutch, however, is going to give us the quickest acceleration time. Audi has tweaked the transmission to give us even faster shifts and launch control, of course. Quattro all-wheel drive is going to be standard. However, Audi has replaced the Haldex system here with a special torque splitter at the back, which means this vehicle can now send up to 100% of the power side to side and more power rearward, which gives this vehicle the ability to do drifts. I actually already had a chance to drive this vehicle out on a track a few months ago. Be sure to click on the link in the description below if you guys want to watch that video where I was actually drifting it around a track and driving it on a racetrack. Basically, giving us that ability to do that gives this car more of a rear drive feel, which is eliminating some of that understeer prone tendency that we get from Audis. Now, fuel economy is rated at 20 in the city, 29 on the highway. I believe it actually went down versus the prior generation. This new generation is a little bit heavier, but because of the improved gearing, increased torque, this Audi says this vehicle should get to 60 in around 3.7 seconds. We've got our 0 to 60 testing equipment. We'll be sure to try this out on the actual real worlds here. And then top speed is around 155 miles an hour for this vehicle. If you guys add the Dynamic Plus package, I believe it increases the top speed to 180 miles an hour. As this one sits, it weighs in at just over 3,600 pounds. It's about 100 pounds heavier versus the previous generation. But let's go ahead and close up the hood and take a look at the styling of this vehicle. Now, this particular one here is painted in turbo blue. It's one of my favorite shades of blue that any manufacturer really much offers. On the RS3, it's actually a free color. Audi also offers a beautiful bright green. They also offer like a beautiful yellow as well. So I love the fact that Audi is offering colors on this car. Now, some of you have definitely voiced your opinion about the grille. You can see Audi's going a little nutty with the grille designs. It's got that single frame grille with the all black insert, basically, even the black badge for the RS3. This one here has the black optics package, so that's the reason for all the black. The headlights, you can see, are super unique on the RS3. You can see the LED matrix design. Headlights are standard. They do the sequential LED turn signal. This right here also does a little animation. It actually shows RS3 every time you lock and unlock the vehicle. You can see it also has LED low and high beams. Functional vents, because you need cooling for that big 5-cylinder. Behind there, you can actually even see the intercooler. These vents here all look for a really aggressive look. Some of you have said that, again, it's a little too much, but the car's design has definitely grown on me, and I really love the front fascia. I just love how menacing this car looks, especially for subcompact to compact sedan. Now moving around the side profile, you can see at around 178 inches long, this is definitely on the small side. Even something like Acura's new Integra is roughly like 5 inches longer than this vehicle. This is also shorter than something like the Mercedes-Benz CLA and a BMW 2 Series Grand Coupe. I definitely think in terms of the proportions, this and the Integra are my favorite looking from the side profile. The CLA also looks nice, but the BMW is definitely my least favorite vehicle. Now looking at the wheels, you can see this model here has the black optics package. So we have these beautiful 19-inch satin black wheels. You can see they're wrapped in two 65/30 ZR19 tires. They're actually wider in the front by 20 millimeters. These are 265s, and then those are 245s at the back. You can see the brakes, massive, nearly 15-inch rotors. You have a 6-piston caliper at the front. You can also get a carbon ceramic front brake if you guys go for that Dynamic Plus package. Love the satin black finish on the wheels. And then Audi also offers a Pirelli Trofeo R Cup 2 tire, basically. It's basically a race car tire for the street. And again, that's going to give you even better lap times. This thing, when I tested it out on the track, is basically track ready when you guys opt to get those tires. Now, in terms of the side profile, you can see there is a functional vent over here. The vehicle is, I want to say, 2 inches wider than a standard A3, which again is necessary given the dimensions of this car and what it's capable of. You can see the mirrors here, black painted, integrated turn signal. You do have a panoramic glass sunroof. That's going to be standard. Love how the black optics package kind of blacks out everything. You can go back to the silver look if you prefer. And then looking at the rear, you can see the taillights. The rear of the vehicle is very understated. You can get a carbon fiber package for almost $3,000 that'll give you a slightly bigger wing. You can see this model here just has the standard deck lid style wing. You do have sequential LED turn signals, and then you can see black RS3 badging. The one thing I don't like about this new generation is this right here. You can see fake vents covering the entire rear bumper. I just don't think it was necessary. It seems like Audi was just trying too hard to make it look more different and more aggressive. And then you can see here, unlike the S3, which has quad exhaust, the RS3 models actually have dual exhaust, but there's actually 4 pipes or 2 pipes per exhaust, so it's actually a quad pipe. This has the sport exhaust. It does sound pretty good, but it could be a little bit louder, but let's go ahead and fire it up, let you guys hear what it sounds like real quick. Again, it sounds great, but I suspect the aftermarket is going to make it even louder for those of you who want this car to sound a little bit more aggressive. Now, opening up the trunk, you can see, sadly, Audi does not offer that hatchback here in America, so you get a trunk that measures 8.3 cubic feet. The seats do fold down in a 40-20-40 manner, which is nice. You also have a nice little cargo net here. Looking underneath here, there is a little bit of storage, but the 12-volt battery is actually back here. No spare tire as well, but overall the trunk is small, but it is still very usable. So clearly Audi has done a really great job on the exterior styling of the RS3. However, let's go ahead and take a look at the interior of this particular one. I do want to show you guys the key fob for the vehicle. This is Audi's current key. It does remind you you've got a special model by showing RS on the back of the key fob. You can also, I believe, use your smartphone if you own this vehicle and access the vehicle's functions via the Audi Connect smartphone app, but I don't have access to that. But as you can see here, opening the door, the turbo blue exterior of my tester is complemented by a black interior with this really nice kind of diamond quilted leather with these RS specific sport seats. The seats themselves adjust in like 12 different ways. They are heated seats, but they are not ventilated, and Audi does not offer the massage seat function that you can get in the RS5 or the S5, so that's something again to keep in mind. If you guys want a lighter interior color, they do offer like a gray. They also offer a black with red stitching and a black with green stitching if you guys go for the green exterior color, but you can see this one here would have looked nice with blue stitching. The interior is a little bit on the plain side. It's a little too dark for me. It's just a little stodgy. Now looking at the door panel, you can see here, this is a somewhat soft touch injection molded plastic. There's some aluminum trim here. Really interesting design for the door handle. It feels high quality. Suede Alcantara on this portion here, and then it's nice and padded over here as well. The window controls, one touch up down for all four. They have a nice satisfying clicky feel. You also have 2-person memory over here, and then a premium Bang & Olufsen stereo system. Hard touch plastic down here, which is what I expect. This is also based on a A3, remember, so it's going to be at the lower end of the totem pole. Now, stepping inside, you can see the step-in is pretty low. You feel like you're almost getting into a sports car. And then as I shut the door has a nice solid sounding thunk. Wouldn't expect less from anything that wears an Audi badge. Start-stop button is right here by the shifter. You can hear when you turn that on, the vehicle starts right up, and it has a nice throaty growl to it, which again reminds you you're driving something relatively special. Now, looking at the rest of this cabin, you can see it's pretty similar to the S3 and A3 that I last tested. This interior design certainly looks a lot more interesting. Materials are pretty average, however. You have soft touch injection molded plastic here, and then you have more of that over here. The vents you can see on the dash are in a really interesting location. You have 2 basically here on the top portion of the instrument panel for the driver, and then you have 2 more for the passenger. There's some carbon fiber, matte carbon fiber here with this silver painted plastic. That's definitely not fooling anybody. You can see this is Audi's current MMI interface. It's got wireless CarPlay and Android Auto. It's a 10.1 inch display, and then you have a 12.3 inch virtual cockpit display here, which allows you the ability to kind of customize how this looks. You can even put the GPS there. If I push this RS badge here, it gives you kind of a sport display where it looks like tire tracks, and also you can hear it revs the engine up a little bit more, shows you this really Audi or sportier drive mode selector over there. The steering wheel is large. I actually think that it's a little too big for the size of the interior. Would have liked to see a flat bottom design, but you can see there's paddles on the wheel. It's a manual tilt and telescoping design for the steering column, so offers a good amount of adjustability, which is nice. The horn, it sounds nice. It doesn't sound puny or pathetic like you might get in some of its competitors. And like I said earlier, window controls here, they feel really high quality, and it's one touch for all 4, which is nice. You do have some controls for the drive mode selector here. As I said earlier, volume controls, adaptive cruise is over here. And then over here on the center stack, you can see the large screen is nice, although it's not quite as big as or intricate as what you get in the Mercedes AMG CLA, where it has that wall of screens. You can see here going to the Audi interface. It looks fine, it works well. Audi's system is starting to get a little bit slow and laggy at times. I found that the system that you find in Porsches is a little bit better. This is still better than what Volkswagen uses, but I do wish that the response was a little bit faster. I just noticed it's kind of slowing down as I've been in other vehicles that also compete. You can see there's the embedded GPS there. It's Google Maps, some of the best in the industry in terms of views. It just looks like you're sitting in you're looking at your computer screen. Dual zone climate control, like I said, you have 3-level heated seats, but Audi doesn't offer cooled seats. Some more buttons over here for the automatic parallel parking. Parking sensors, you have a wireless phone charging pad over there, along with 2 USB charging ports. They're USB-Cs. Piano black plastic over here. And then if you're looking for a volume knob, it's no longer a knob. It's kind of this touch-sensitive wheel here, where you kind of spin around this, either clockwise or counterclockwise, and then there are touch-sensitive buttons. That takes a little getting used to. If you don't like it, you can use the little wheel on the actual steering wheel, which is nice. Put the vehicle into reverse, you can see parking sensors and backup camera, but no 360 camera, I believe. Yeah, no 360 camera, but it does have automatic parallel parking. You don't really need that for a vehicle like this, but again, for this price point, it could have been nice of Audi to throw that in. A lot of you have not liked this shifter. It's very similar to the one that I find in the Porsche 911, where it's like this little razor. It feels high quality when you use it. It's just gonna take some getting used to. It does save, I wanna say, a little bit of space. You can see electronic parking brake over here, and then you have cup holders and whatnot, 12-volt power outlet. You have a nice center console area. Open that up. It is a little bit shallow. There's no USB ports in there at all. The seats are very comfortable and supportive. I do wish that they were just cooled, but I do like how you have power seats on both sides. The seat over here is also height adjustment, which is definitely a plus. Above me, you can see the panoramic sunroof. Isn't quite a full pano roof, but it's bigger than a standard sunroof. You do have our LED lighting in the cabin, which is also pretty nice. It's actually over here. And then the glove compartment, you can see, is big, it's damped, it's lined with felt, and offers a good amount of storage. So overall, the interior has most of the tech that you'd expect, including a heads-up display. It does feel a little bit on the cramped side. The stereo system sounds good. The screens look nice, but the interface here, I believe, could just be a little bit faster. It tends to be a little laggy at times, especially when you first start the vehicle up. Checking out the back seat, you can see if you're trying to sell this to your spouse, the RS3 offers just over 35 inches of legroom back here, which isn't a lot, but it's a pretty comparable with the class. I believe something like the Acura Integra offers the most amount of space, but getting back here and shutting the door, you can hear the door has that same solid thunk. The materials back here, sadly, are hard touch plastic, and then there's some unused buttons over here. At least it's still padded over here with the suede Alcantara. This still feels pretty high quality, and Audi does remind you that you're in a premium car by throwing in rear seat air vents with 2 USB-C charging ports. You can even adjust the temperature there. That's something that Acura doesn't even include in the Integra. You have 2 storage pockets over here, and then you can see here, if you fold this down, there's an armrest that gives you 2 cup holders. These seats, like I mentioned earlier, fold down. Then headroom for me is a little bit tight, so if you guys are taller, you may find the headroom a little bit lacking. Legroom is okay. There's a big center hump here, obviously, for the drive shaft, but overall, it's a usable back seat, but clearly, you're gonna wanna go for a bigger vehicle if you actually need to put really tall adults back here. So here we are back in the 2023 Audi RS3. Now, when I first had a chance to drive this vehicle back in May of 2022, I was simply blown away. I mean, I've always had a crush on the Audi RS3 ever since this car came out back in 2017. The 2022 or 2023 model basically added a little bit more power, a little bit more refinement, much better tech on the inside, and it's also a really great everyday daily driver. Now, when I first drove this car, I was on a track in Las Vegas. Now we're actually going to drive the car back for a full week and see what this thing is like to live with on a daily basis. Now, the first thing I do want to test out is what I can get 0 to 60 wise for this car in the real world back home. So we'll go ahead, and the vehicle is in its dynamic drive mode right now. And let's go ahead and see what we can get. Audi, I believe, says 3.8 seconds. Ooh. Jeez. 3.42 seconds. That is insane. 3.42. Wow. I mean, the Audi, I believe, says 3.6, 3.7, so the Germans are always conservative, but it doesn't surprise me that this car does better than what the rating is. But oh my God, the way this car launches, I mean, the 7-speed dual clutch revs up to around 4,000 RPM. It's just so brutally fast. I do kind of think that the engine could be louder, but you know, it's supposed to also be a luxury car as well, so I can forgive it for not being quite as loud, but oh God, this thing will seriously surprise anyone. You don't expect a car like this to do 0 to 60 in under 3.5 seconds. Launch program activated. Oof! Oh God! Wow, that was 3.5 seconds there, and that's with it going slightly more uphill, so 3.4. This thing will actually outsmoke some electric cars. That's kind of the beauty about the Audi RS3, is this thing has the performance to go toe-to-toe with a lot of sports cars, a lot of supercars, a lot of quick EVs, that it really will shock a lot of people. It's the pinnacle, or we're basically at the pinnacle of internal combustion engines, and I love the fact that Audi still uses this charismatic, sonorous 5-cylinder. Now, I do wish that at times it was a smidge louder, but listen to this noise, guys. First gear there. I kind of wish it had a little bit more pops and crackles from the exhaust, but you can't deny how quick shifting this transmission is. It is the perfect partner. Yes, could Audi have put a manual transmission in this car? Absolutely, but I love this dual clutch. This dual clutch is really good. It has amazing launch control, amazing response, quick, lightning fast shifts, and really good paddles as well. The paddles just respond instantly. As soon as I put my foot down, it's incredible to me how well the paddles respond. And the beauty thing about this new RS3 is it's got that new quattro all-wheel drive system with the torque splitter. This thing actually can send up to 100% of the power, or not 100%, it can send 100% of the power to the side, but it can split the torque more rearward and allow for some tail-out shenanigans. And that makes this thing a lot of fun. I actually had a chance to do some drifts on this car when I first drove it out in Vegas. But, you know, out in the real world here, what you feel is a more rear drive biased car, and that's what makes the RS3 even more fun. The front one, the previous generation had more of a torque steer prone, or not really, it had understeer prone tendencies. Not really torque steer, but just you could feel the fact that Audis have always been more likely to push when you're pushing them around corners because of the transverse engine on most of them. The front the nose-heavy front end. Now that this can torque more of the power rearward, it gives it more of that characteristic rear drive feel, and it has like a drift mode, for Christ's sake. So if you really want to do some tail-out shenanigans, this is the car you want to get. It is an insane car. Just as a daily on the track, it's amazing when I had a chance to drive this out on the track, but here on the road, I'm actually genuinely shocked how good this car still is. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. But let me go ahead and switch the drive mode here. We'll turn the stability control back on. I'll switch the drive mode here to just automatic. And this is where the baffle and the exhaust will close off. The suspension will get a little bit softer. The steering gets a little bit light. In fact, it's actually a little too light even in sport. I do wish the steering was a little bit heavier, but the steering feel and response is amazing. The suspension stays nice and flat. However, in this mode here, the car gets really comfortable, actually. It reminds you that you're driving still a luxury car. The transmission, as you can still see, even in automatic mode, just rev matches on your downshift, so it's still a really comfortable car as a daily driver. And this is also the mode where the car will get over 30 miles to the gallon on the highway. In my week's worth of testing, I was able to get 32 mpg on a pure highway run, you know, within this mode, just driving around 70 miles an hour. That's incredible gas mileage for something like this. Now, premium is going to be recommended or required, but you know, if you're going to be able to afford a car like this, you're going to be wanting to do that, or wanting to feed it the good stuff anyways. Visibility is also excellent. I can see out of the front really well, the sides, the back. This particular one here has the technology package, so it has Audi's traffic jam assist, it has the driver assistance with full speed range adaptive cruise control. The seats are also very comfortable and supportive. I love the fact that they hold you in place still, but they're not super constricting. Sadly, Audi doesn't offer ventilated seats. These seats are heated. They adjust in, I believe, like 12 different ways, so really good. I kind of wish the steering wheel, it's nice as it feels. I actually think that the diameter is too large, and I want it to be a flat bottom wheel design. So that's kind of a little bit of a nitpick there. But I mean, overall, the A3 is a really great place to start for a daily driver. And as you step it up from the S3 to the RS3, those qualities still are very much present in this RS3. So as a daily, I'm actually very impressed at how docile it is, how comfortable it is, and that's one of the reasons why, you know, this car costs roughly, you know, $20,000 to $30,000 more than something like a Subaru WRX. The new WRX, I will say, is pretty comfortable, but this just kind of takes it to the next level. It is luxury car smooth when you need it to be, and then as soon as you push this RS button here, it just becomes absolutely crazy. With that sonorous 5-cylinder that a quick aftermarket exhaust can make even louder. So yes, Audi, the fact that they still offer a 5-cylinder turbo with this kind of dual split personality at a fairly reasonable price is reason to celebrate. And it makes me sad, because cars like these will go away someday. So if you're looking for something like this that's super unique, super quick, super charismatic, and also super easy to daily drive on a daily basis and then take it out to the track, you should definitely put this thing at the very top of your list. So after spending a full week with the 2023 Audi RS3, I have to say, for those of you who are in the market for a vehicle like this, you could kind of compare it to cars, like sports cars like a Nissan 400Z or a Toyota Supra. Although this is a sedan, the RS3 represents a really interesting proposition. I mean, compared to competitors like the Mercedes AMG CLA or the BMW M235i, this car, for me, is far more appealing. Acura's Integra also doesn't offer anything that compares to this, unless the Type S offers similar performance, but I suspect that's gonna line up more with the S3. When I already had a chance to drive this car in Vegas at the track, I was super impressed. Now that I've spent a full week with it on the road, I was simply blown away with how comfortable this car is. It's still crazy bonkers fast. 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds is 0.2 seconds quicker versus what I got in Vegas. In Vegas, it was very, very hot, so now we're in like a more milder temperature here in Pennsylvania on roads that I know. 3.4 seconds all day long in this car is crazy fast. You can basically pull alongside a lot of fast performance electric vehicles, and this car will either keep up with them or smoke them, and that's kind of the cool proposition. Is the internal combustion vehicle is still here, it's still fighting. The handling of the car is also amazing. The steering could use a little bit more heft to it, but it's got great response. The suspension stays nice and flat. The torque vectoring rear diff, or the torque splitter rear all-wheel drive system also makes this car feel more like a rear-wheel drive car, which is fantastic. The interior is definitely on the small side. I do think cars like the Acura Integra offer a little bit more space. However, the front seats are also among the most comfortable. The interior quality is also good, although it's not quite up to the same snuff that I like in the Mercedes-AMG CLA, although that car is slightly more expensive. Really, I'm having trouble finding things about this car that I don't like, aside from it being a little bit small for the back seat. It's got a small trunk, and it is a little bit on the pricier side, but you could also look at it as kind of a bargain depending on what you're looking for, because this car starts at just under $59,000 for the base version. Audi only offers it as a well-equipped trim. My tester basically with the technology package and the black optics package, plus destination stickers for around $64,475. So 65 grand, to be honest, is a steal for this car because of the performance that it gives you. I mean, it is kind of in line with some of the fast electric vehicles. You could also kind of compare this thing to something like the BMW i4. However, the Audi is certainly unique in the fact that its engine is something that's going to eventually be phased out, because like I said earlier, the TTRS has been discontinued for the 2022 model year, which leaves this as the only vehicle in the Volkswagen Audi family in America that still offers that 2.5-liter 5-cylinder. If that's something that you're looking for, you want something that's going to be fun, but also something that's going to turn into something of a collector's item, you should definitely put this vehicle at the top of your list. And if you're comparing it to the BMW and the Mercedes, this one here is definitely my favorite version of all those high-performance small sports sedans. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on the 2023 Audi RS3. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.